Hi and welcome to Jaws of Data, Data Science for Curious People. In this video I want to plot a chart of South Africa's GDP per capita over the last few decades to see where we've come from and where we currently are, and then to make some predictions and just some comments on GDP per capita and why it's an important metric for the prosperity of a country and why it's important for investment. So in my R Studio, I have dplyr library, ggthemes, ggplot2, and then I've created my object, which is this data set, which is the official data set of South Africa's GDP per capita. I've just renamed it GDP per cap CSV. And if I just take a look at the first few rows, you can see it here, the year and then the amount. So right, let's get going. So ggplot and data frame, and then x equals x, y equals y, and let's add our first layer, which is geom. Let's do geom line. Okay, and we'll quickly print our plot, which you can see down here if I open this up. So what we see straight away here, you can see in this x-axis is the time. So 1960 there was the GDP, and 1980, 2000, and then 2020. So what you can see is a steady increase. If I had to plot some regression line, you would see it going up, and then over here in about 2010, you see here it's at its high point, the GDP per capita, and then it starts, then over the last 10 years, there's been this exponential decline. In 10 years, it's dropped down to here, and if you see from 2000 to here, we see a exponential increase, and now we're seeing a steady decrease. Let's just add on a few extra features just to make it look good. So let's add theme, economists, that's always nice. Let's add another layer to our plot. Let's add labels, South Africa's GDP per capita, and then x is equal to year and y is equal to amount in US dollars. Let's run that again. So here's our plot, and let's just increase the labels are a little bit small, so let's add in some more style. Theme, axis x, axis title x, and element text, and the font, is it size? Oh, no, it's size. Let's make 16, and then the vertical just 1. I often have to just play around to get that one right. The v just is -1. I think, yeah, there's moving it down. And then let's add, so that was the first one, and then let's add axis title y, element dot text, size is 16, and then v just -1. No, 1. I always forget if it's minus or positive which direction it moves in. Let's do 2. Maybe it needs to move out a little bit more. There, we can see it a little bit better. And then just for consistency's sake, let's make this 2. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop there with the styling of it. Obviously, you can do a lot of great things with ggplot2. The point of this video is not so much about that. It's more just to show you, well, firstly, it's to show you how one can quickly plot a chart with R, just that code there. produced this nice plot, which gives us an idea of the GDP. Now, GDP per capita basically means the economic output of a country divided by the population size. And an increasing one is a positive sign. It means greater well-being, people have more money, there is more to spend on things like health and education. Although a weakness is that it does not cover the things like inequality. So it doesn't necessarily tell you how unequal the society is. But what we're seeing in South Africa, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, is this is really concerning. You see this exponential decrease from 2010 down here. And why that is really concerning is for obvious reasons. It means the country is becoming less and less productive. And the population size, I assume, is continually increasing. I would need to actually double check that. But even if it's not, we're seeing a decrease in productivity in the country. So the GDP per capita is decreasing. And that's not a good sign because there's less money then to spend. And it becomes a country that outside investors are skeptical of investing into. And money already has been leaving the country, but if this continues to decrease, we will see more and more money leave the country. And so one has to ask, like, why was there this sudden downturn? And many of you would know that, when was it, in 2008, Thabo Mbeki, who was the president up until this point, we can see Mbeki years GDP per capita increasing, and then we see the Zuma and the Ramaphosa years is decreasing. So the data is saying that Ramaphosa's reformation, or his plan of the new dawn, is certainly not materializing, which makes you question his real intentions and what the man's actually doing. And so as an investor, this is concerning, which I know personally why I have pushed money ashore. And I think if you have not done so already, you should seriously consider it, because there are no indications that this is going to be turning around anytime soon, especially when you consider the rolling blackouts we have due to Eskom and other factors. This is not a good sign. However, I talk to average South Africans, and the average South African is fantastic, hardworking, conservative type person. And so there is still lots of hope in South Africa, and there is still a lot of opportunity for growth and investment. But as an investor, you have to understand these details, that the country is on a decline, and an exponential one at that, especially when you look at a metric as important as GDP per capita. So that's where we are. I think there are rough seas ahead of us for the next few years. If the ANC can leave power and we can get some conservative, economically conservative, if we can get some economically conservative, freedom-loving type government that allows for a market economy, I think this can turn around and we can see a bit of a dip in 2025 and then increase after that. But if the ANC does not leave power, this decline in GDP per capita may rapidly increase. The decline will probably rapidly increase, and we could see ourselves all the way down here at the end of the next decade, which is not a good place to be. So there is always hope, because we know that the average South African is a hardworking type of person that wants this country to do well. But as an investor and someone of influence, I think we need to take this decline seriously. Thanks so much for watching this short episode, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye for now.